Happy Friday, everyone. We are just giving it a moment or two to allow our virtual community to get settled into this virtual learning space. So just take a moment to settle in, go to the chat, let us know where you're joining the conversation from. It is always a treat for us to see the many different geographies that are represented. I am Dr. Nika White. My pronouns are she, her. I am the founder and lead principal consultant of NWC, and we are so glad you're here. We've been expecting you. And I want to shout out the NWC team who has worked tirelessly over the past 5 years to help bring this virtual learning experience to our broader community. We are so grateful that you find it fit to spend this hour with us. Many of you return Friday after Friday during this hour, and we don't take that for granted. You could spend this time doing so many different things, but the fact that you continue to show up here lets us know that you value the content, the voices that we bring so that we can learn with and from each other. And we are incredibly grateful for that. Keep going to the chat. I see you, Toki. Thanks so very much. Let us know where you're joining the conversation from. I also want you to be aware that we go live on LinkedIn. So for those who are not a part of our Zoom community today, you may be watching the episode through LinkedIn Live. We welcome you just as well. We want you to know that your voice is equally important to those who are live with us here today on Zoom. And as such, make sure that you're going to the comment section. You're sharing your expressions, your thoughts, your affirmations, your resources, anything that you think would add value to this community. Put it into the comment section. We're going to bring that over into the Zoom chat so that we all can be connected and have all of the goodness that we know is going to take place through your contributions to today's conversation. At NWC, we truly value disability inclusion, and as such, we do have closed caption that has been enabled for your pleasure, your benefit of enhancing your experience today. So I wanted to make sure that that was in your hearing. And once again, I'm just excited that you're here, and we look forward to having a tremendous show. So sit back and enjoy intentional conversations. Welcome again. We're so glad you're here. Conversations begin indeed. And if you have not caught it by now, I want you to know this is our 5th year anniversary, 5 years, yay, 5. That's no small feat. So we have been celebrating that milestone every chance we get this year. And one of the things that we do at the top of the hour here on Intentional Conversations is we let you know a little bit about what's happening on the national front in terms of national observances. And so while this is the last Friday in August, we're still in August. So I'm definitely going to stand 10 toes down and letting you know it is National Black Business Month. As a Black woman founder, business owner, entrepreneur, I take great pride in making sure that we are supporting through economic inclusion and direct opportunities to be able to propel our Black businesses forward. And so a rising tide lifts all boats. Let's make sure that we are leaning into all that this message entails, not just during this month, because the month's going to be fading away soon, but all throughout the year. Black businesses matter. I also want you to know that one of the things that we do here at NWC is we love to be able to create useful, resourceful content. And so one of my recent authored pieces is called Burnout by Budget. And it relates to how financial stress also creates emotional fragility leaders and what to do about it. I realize that right now, when we're in this economic downturn, that many of us are trying to find ways to sustain the financials that are coming in that we're responsible for to be able to take care of our families and maybe even keep our businesses afloat. But what I want you to make sure that you're keeping top of mind is that if your emotional state, if you're emotionally not regulated, then you're going to find yourself leaning towards burnout instead of showing up with great clarity and focus to be able to make some critical decisions. And so read this article. My team will drop it into the chat as well as into the comment section if you're on LinkedIn Live. And I hope that you will find this useful as you continue to navigate the days ahead. Now, I am so excited because some of you may have been a part of our Boundless Masterclass that took place Wednesday of this week. It was an incredible, beautiful 90-minute plus experience. That's all I can say is was an experience. But I enjoyed the fact that I was able to connect with different sisters, women of color, Black women in particular, who were very resonant with the information that was being delivered around how do we anchor our power through emotional authority. And that was also an opportunity for me to share that the broader container of transformation is not just in that singular masterclass, but it's in becoming a member of the Boundless community, which is a woman of color community of well-being, empowerment, and leadership. And so I want you to know that the opportunity still stands. You can scan that QR code to be able to take into the landing page with more information. The kickoff is official on September the 4th. And thank you to all of the women who've already signed up and you've invested in yourselves to be a part of this wonderful force, rising movement. And I cannot wait to be in community with each of you. So share it out with a girlfriend, let them know, hey, it's not too late, because it's not too late. Now, I want to let you know what you have to look forward to in the upcoming weeks of Intentional Conversations podcast. We do this just so that you can have a little bit of hint as you're thinking about the content and the guest co-host, so you can mark your calendars and plan to be here, or plan to catch the replay, which we have them every single week, or even you can catch every single show on podcasts. We extract the audio every week and we make it available in podcast capacity for wherever you like to get your podcast content. So yes, we thought of everything because we don't want you to miss out on the good content and insights that are being shared. But on September 5th, kicking us off for the September month is going to be Charlotte Otter, and she's going to be discussing the crisis of leadership. Specifically, we're going to go through a litany of questions around why do we need to invest in the next generation of diverse decision makers, and a really important topic. So I hope that you will join me on September the 5th. And following that, on the next Friday, we have my friend Shayla Atkins, who's going to be joining, and she is a great powerhouse in the space of leadership development, workplace culture. She just curated an amazing conference that took place in Houston, so I'm sure she's going to tell us a little bit more about that. But I hope that you will mark your calendars and plan to be here on September 12th for that intentional conversation with my friend Shayla Atkins. Now, it is that time. It is that time. It is that time. The time that I look forward to, where I get the opportunity to actually give a formal introduction of today's guest co-host. If you've been rocking with us, you know that I like to do this by reading the person's official bio. This feels very important to me because I want you to know the accolades, the credentials, the lived experiences, the different intersecting identities in which our guest co-hosts show up to the conversation with, because I want you to know that they are a voice of power and a voice that is worthy of putting before this beloved community. And today is going to be no different. So help me as I introduce officially our guest co-host for today, Lisa Hurley. Lisa Hurley is a 3-time Anthem award-winning activist, writer, podcaster, and community builder. Her work centers Black women and converges at the nexus of self-care, community care, joy, and rest. Hurley is the author of Space to Excel, a handbook for curating a soft, centered, serene life, a transformational book that helps people beat burnout, embrace rest, and curate a soft, fulfilling life. She is also the host of Space to Excel, the podcast. In addition, she is the founder of The Great Excel, a serene virtual community where Black women can relax, lay their burdens down, and exhale. Ms. Hurley is an executive member of the International Academy of Digital Arts and Sciences, a juror of the Anthem Awards, and a founding member of the Book Academy. A respected voice, Lisa has been honored as one of the top 20 entrepreneurs to follow on LinkedIn, voted as one of LinkedIn's top 50 Black curators, and recognized as one of the top 10 anti-discrimination activists in the world. In addition, her words have been quoted in Forbes, Entrepreneur, Sweet July, Adweek, and more. A strong believer in good vibes, Lisa is a Reiki master who is known for her inspiring affirmations on TikTok. I love them. Of Caribbean heritage, Lisa has an understandable preference for warmer climates. I don't blame you, sis. Her love languages are sunshine, laughter, and naps. I don't blame you on that either, sis. And so you know what to do now if you've been part of our community. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. I'm going to invite you to find those emojis, those reactions, those words of affirmation, whatever it is. Let's let our guest co-host, as I add her to the spotlight, know how appreciative we are to have her here with us. I cannot tell you, it's been a long time coming. Now, I'm trying to contain my excitement because it really has been a long time coming. That's probably going to show forth in the way in which we engage with each other. But here's what I want you to know, Lisa, before I release you to greet this audience in your own way. We do have a tradition here on Intentional Conversations podcast. And that tradition is we always like for our guest co-hosts to, as they're greeting us, to find something that we would not know about them, either from hearing their bio, which we've just done, or from looking at your LinkedIn profile that you can deposit directly into this community. Now, I'm gonna pause for a second and say you are very transparent. You're so open. You create a lot of content. So I know this may be a little bit of a challenge, but hey, I'm up for a challenge today. Are you, sis? Welcome.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, Nika. I am so over the moon excited. I'm like literally like inside, I'm sort of like doing this. I'm so excited and happy to be here. Thanks for having me. Definitely has been a long time coming. And thanks for having me, not only as your guest, but including me in this wonderful community that you've brought together. Yeah, I'm just feeling all the love. So something that people might not know about me. Like you said, I am very transparent. So I feel like I've pretty much put almost everything out there. One random fact is that I used to do pageants back in the day. So that's something.
That
And
doesn't surprise me. That doesn't surprise me. I'm gonna tell you why. I don't think I've ever seen you communicate that, but it doesn't surprise me because the aura, just the way that you show up, your presence, it commands attention, and so that makes sense to me. So yes, this okay.
thank you. So that's all I got. It's I think people know that I'm a pet lover. I love all animals, anything
We
soft,
shared some stories
and
recently
four
about you
legs.
a
Right.
fur baby, and I'm so sorry. Yeah,
Oh,
I
thank
definitely
you.
empathize. I lost my fur baby December of last year, and so they become a part of our families. And so yes.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, that's it. And I also want to make sure to say while I remember, because if I don't say it now, it's gone. Congratulations on 5 years of this podcast.
Oh,
You
I
I think
appreciate
people
that.
understand most podcasts don't make it past. I think it's either like 10 or 20 episodes. I don't remember what
Oh.
yeah, did you know that? Like it's so
Well, I
rare.
knew it was a small percentage, but I never heard any stats or numbers. And
Yeah.
so yeah. I mean,
So
I can tell
5 years is a huge deal, and it's a testament to
you.
sometimes it's you just have to keep putting one foot in front of the other and doing the work and believing in yourself and continuing to show up and serve. And that is what you have done. That is what you do. And
Oh,
I'm proud of you. So congratulations.
thank you so much. Lisa Hurley is proud of me, y'all. That means something. No, thank you so much. Because when I do think about the 5 years and the amazing support that the entire team provides for helping to ensure this can be something that people can look forward to, can gain value from, can gain wisdom and insight from. I appreciate that we've been able to sustain for as long as we have. So I don't take that lightly when someone recognizes that, and I am equally proud of the team. And so shout out to the NWC team. They are kind of on today as they are each week, working tirelessly behind the scenes. And so I appreciate that. Thank you, thank you. Yes, show them some love, y'all. Show them some love. Okay. Now I see that you have your book, and I'm so glad that you do because I'm sitting here looking around for my book because I have it, of course, and I remember I posted it and all the good stuff, and I don't want to
Listen,
grab it to have it like right here with me in this moment. But
don't even worry about it because we're both podcasters. Hey, Toki. I love it.
okay,
Listen, and it
yes,
has to post it.
I'm
Toki
trying
has
to
a
find this stuff,
photo.
and I
It's
don't put my
not a
hands
photo,
up.
but you're holding
It
it.
is.
Thank you. And
Yes.
I
If you
just,
have your copies, yes, and your cameras are on, hold them up.
oh
Let
my
us see,
gosh,
let
that
us
is
see.
so absolutely awesome. But
Beautiful, beautiful.
the thing is, Nika, is that happens to me too. Do you know how many times I've interviewed authors? I have the book. I have read the book. It has the post-its. And then
Yes.
on the day of, I'm like, I don't know where the book is.
I saw
like
you.
you're
I
busy.
have the highlight
Right.
stuff written all up. Yes, it is.
So
It is
don't worry
beautiful.
about it.
Oh, it is beautiful in every sense. It is exactly what I expected, but also not at all what I expected because it went even deeper. And it was just, I loved everything about it. And I'm still actually getting through it because your book released about a couple
June
months.
17th.
Yes, and so it hasn't been out there tremendously long. And the reason that I say that a lot of it is expected is because you have been on this wavelength of excelling and ease and joy for so long that it really is just a culmination of all the different experiences and touch points that you have been, dripping to us along the way. But it is so beautiful, and I am so excited that you were able to get this out into the universe. I have followed your work and I followed your voice, and I knew that this was something that it had to happen. And the fact that it has happened, I am just ecstatic for you and I am proud of you. And if you don't have the book, y'all, please, please, please get the book. And let me say this too. This book, I know that Lisa, your legacy and all that you do has been so much around catering to Black women. But I want you to know that you don't have to be a Black woman to gain so much great value from this book. So please, please, please consider it. Okay. Now,
Thank
that was
you.
just my
I
quick
know.
soapbox, but I had to get that out, sis.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I know that you're interviewing me, but I have a question for you.
Okay.
So the question is, because you mentioned that the book was both expected, what you expected and what you did not expect, or something similar. I'm paraphrasing.
Yes, yes, yes.
So what about it was unexpected for you? I'm just curious.
I think it was still the recognition of the value that I am receiving by reading your book. Because again, I've been following your work and I'm part of your community. And so when someone is that close to someone's voice and then they take all of that and pretty much just put it into a book, you almost expect the sameness of what you've always been experiencing, right? It's this
Right.
goodness. But it has landed on me differently. And
Oh,
I don't know if it's because it's all kind of compiled in one central place. And so when you dig into it, it's like, okay, nugget after, just practical tips and that you can apply immediately that are so impactful. It's just maybe all of it being contained in one singular place, perhaps, that
okay.
has led me to feel that this is beyond just having an experience with Lisa across all her many different platforms and touch points of getting her goodness. Maybe that's it. I
Maybe.
don't know.
And thanks for sharing that. My sister, Sharon Hurley Hall. I know you know Sharon. In fact,
Yes.
you just saw her in Barbados, right?
I did. And let me tell you, I'm making my way back to Barbados. But yes, love your sister. For those of you who don't know, Sharon Hurley Hall is Lisa's sister, and she's been on our show before. Great
Wow.
friends, someone that I incredibly admire. But nonetheless, okay. So go ahead and finish with your point, sis.
Yeah, no, just that she said that if she were to think of me as a person sort of manifesting into a book, this is the book.
Oh
She said
yes.
it literally, she
Oh,
said it
your
literally
persona is
is in book form.
personified.
Yeah, yeah. And
Yes.
that was interesting to me because you write something, you have no idea how anybody is going to receive it. You have hopes. You have hopes and strategies and plans and prayers and dreams and wishes, but you still don't know.
Listen,
And
sis. You don't know. You
you
don't
don't
know.
know. So having someone who is that close to me say that was very meaningful, you know.
Oh, and that, I mean, I echo those words. And yes, my team is so quick to the draw. They went ahead and placed the replay to Sharon's intentional conversations for those who are interested. But I love that. But yes, the book is you personified. And I get what you're saying because when I released my last book, it was book number 3, and there was a lot of time in between my books. But
Mhm.
I remember calling my dear friend, Tara J. Frank, and you know Tara very well. But anyway, I called her and I was like, I don't know what's happening now, but something's happening. I'm like hiding today. And this was on my pub day. I'm like hiding today. I'm not like out and talking about the book. I'm staying like in my corner in my house, just kind of in silence. And I said, what is happening to me? Why are my emotions like on a low, and I think it should be on a high? And she said, because you have just birthed your baby into the world and you are carrying all of the human feelings of what people are going to say, what are they going to think, are they going to like it, is it going to resonate? You are human, and let those emotions just come through. But you are fine, the book is fine, this is great, you did what you needed to do. Now let the rest just serve you. And I found so much calmness and appreciation and gratitude in those words. And so um, you're past the pub day. You're now a couple months shy, but I know it still comes up. So let me just kind of release the same upon you, my sister. The book
Thank you.
is out there, and just receive at this point. Just receive. And
Thank
so
you.
anyway.
You. I really appreciate that. The one of the most fulfilling aspects of being post-pub, like the book is now out in the world, right? And so when you're doing the thing, when you are writing and editing and structuring and restructuring and all of that,
Uh,
at least for me, I'm not thinking about book sales. I'm not thinking about publicity. I'm not thinking about the metrics, none of that. I'm thinking about, am I am I writing my book,
yeah.
not the book that someone else might want me to write? Am I writing my book? Am I being authentic to myself? And in so doing, am I serving the people that I want to serve? Is this
Yeah.
going to
That it was
add?
intended for. Yeah.
Yeah, yes. And
Yeah.
so actually being post-public, it was a bizarre feeling. It did feel like, and I've never had children, but so pardon me, but a form of almost like postpartum. It's like you birth this huge project, and now it's like, okay, what do I do? Am I the same person? Have I changed? Will people, and frankly, will people like it? That's a valid, will people like it? This book that you've put, blood, sweat, tears, angst, joy, everything, all of your life wisdom into, will people like it? Will they pick up what you have put down?
Mm.
And what has been very fulfilling so far is that it seems that people of all walks of life, all ethnicities, all identities are like, wow, this book is good. I have received value from it. I love the prayers, I love the affirmations, I love the stories, and some people have said, oh, I love these parts of the book specifically more than the rest. Some people like the anecdotes about my personal, about my life, basically, right? Which is why you said there's not much that people don't know about me, because listen, if you haven't seen it on LinkedIn, it's in the book. So one
Very
way or
much
the
you
other.
personified. Again, I love the words of sharing, very much you personified. So, well, I'm glad that you are having fun with this process and with this journey, because yeah, it certainly can be a lot of ups and downs as we are human, right? And so I love that you're having fun with this process and you're letting the process soothe you in knowing that you did what you came to do with this book and through this book to impact others. And so, okay, it is Friday. And if you all follow Lisa, you know it's Footwork Friday. So let me see. Have you posted Footwork Friday yet? Is it out there today?
I have not, but as when when we're done, I know. Listen, sometimes people DM me like, "Girl, where's our
Okay.
Friday video?" So it is coming. It is coming. It
Okay.
is going to be
Okay.
posted today, and I have a good one lined up.
Okay, fantastic. So I'm having to get the good questions out that I know the people want to hear and want to know about. Okay, so now I want to move and I want to talk into this soft, light, activism. So first of all, most often when we hear and we think about just the word activist, we often think about loud and bold and just, always being seen and heard and like it's on level 10, right?
Yes.
And what I so appreciate about what Lisa personifies in this space of soft life activism is that our work can be incredibly powerful without it necessarily having to look like activism that maybe we traditionally are used to. And you have found your space, you have owned it, and you do it in such an incredible way. And I just want you to unpack a little bit about how did you come into this soft life activism, and specifically as it relates to your interest in reaching Black women, helping them to excel. What inspired you to create all that falls under the Great Excel movement?
That is an awesome question, and I'm excited to answer it. So the most proximate inspiration is the the sort of post George Floyd movement, and I think when you ask this question of almost any activist, the answer probably includes an aspect of that. So it's the racial reckoning. It was seeing how Black people are being treated, how among Black people, Black women are treated even worse, and also seeing having so many friends of mine like yourself, my sister. I know that there are people on this call. I see my friend Latrice is here as well. So many people in the either actively or passively, overtly or subtly in the activism space. And all of us feeling tired. That was the through line that I realized. I'm like, every single Black woman that I speak to is exhausted.
Yes.
Exhausted from microaggressions, exhausted from racism, exhausted from basically working while Black.
Yes,
From
from
having,
overthinking, from trying to prove our worthiness, from all
yeah,
the things. Yes,
from
from
having to do,
control obsessing, all the things.
yes, all of it, for having to work twice as hard to get paid, usually even less than half as much, right? And also to not even get half as far. So all of those things were on my mind. And I thought, okay, well, I'm an introvert. And I have said before, I will say again, I'm absolutely not going out marching in the streets. The day that happens, I don't know what day that would be. I don't see it happening. However, I knew that I wanted to contribute to the movement and contribute to helping Black women feel better. And I'm like, okay, you're a writer, dive into, I'm always advising people, dive into what your natural gifts and talents are. One of my natural gifts and talents is writing. So I used that to I guess not birth, really continue. I would never say that I am the person who birthed the rest movement. I mean, you have to go back to Trisha Hersey, and before her, the Black Panthers, and so on and so forth. Bell Hooks. There's so many others
Yes,
who
yes.
are before me, but I am definitely contributing my part with what I believe to be a unique way. And in terms of my cultural heritage, I grew up in the Caribbean. You all can hear my accent. I am, born in Jamaica, grew up in Trinidad and Barbados. What my childhood was soft. I don't know any other way to explain it. My sister and I, we got driven to school every day, dropped off, right in the schoolyard or just outside the gates. We went in, it was nice and safe. There were walls around there. There was, at least for me, and as far as I know, like at high school, there was no bullying, there was none of that. The island closed down every Saturday at noon. This is way back in the day. I know I'm completely dating myself, right? And the places of business, banks, any storefront that was open would close between noon and 1 o'clock, and then the island, the entire country would be at rest. And so that is the culture and the context in which I grew up. And so that has informed how I have shown up in my life, which therefore informs how I have shown up in my work. That was a
Yeah.
super long answer. I hope that was.
No, but I so appreciate that context. And having visited Barbados for the first time ever last year, was it last year or earlier this year? I don't know. The time is running together. And I see that my friend Marisha is on, and she visits there quite often. But nonetheless, I did feel that. And I think, and I was actually there for a retreat, and it just added to the serenity of the retreat to be in this climate and in this place that deeply believe that we deserve rest, we deserve soft life, we deserve to just be able to take in um, some of just the natural things that allows our life to be fulfilled. I mean, even when I think about just the aesthetics of the beauty of Barbados, it just,
Right.
let's take the time to appreciate that and the creation of it. And
Yes.
it forces you to slow down. And so I love that you brought some context to your upbringing and the time that you spent in those areas and the culture there and how it has led you to this place of where you are now. And by the way, Marisha is team introvert, so she was picking up all that you were putting down, sis, when you were talking about
Hey,
yourself.
Marisha.
But but I appreciate you talking
Yes.
about that, because I do believe that there are some people who perceive that if our activism doesn't look a certain way, and often that certain way is the way that we show up to activism, that it's not truly activism. And we need us all to find different ways to get into this broader work of making life better, making life easier for all, especially those who are on the margins and who have not had the opportunity to experience the ease that we so deserve. And so, while you certainly took a moment to honor the space of others who have gone before you, yeah, Lisa, I certainly certainly put you, and I'm sure many of us here do as well, into that category of significant contributors towards moving this body of work forward. And you've done it, as you mentioned, very uniquely in your own way, and it's been powerful. So I want you to define for us, how do you talk about and describe the soft, centered, serene life? And I know this is in your book, but for the people that haven't read your book yet, give us a little bit of how you define that, the soft, centered, serene life.
So the shortest definition would include the phrase life work balance versus work life balance. In the book, I deliberately have flipped work life balance to be life work balance because life has to come first.
Yes.
The language is absolutely in on it, and it's trying to make us prioritize work over life, but life has to come before work.
Yes.
Additionally, when I think of soft life, I think of having a strong community, a strong village, a strong sense of self, a strong group to support you in whatever you might be doing. Those are aspects of soft living that are central to how I define it. Now, a lot of people, when they hear the term soft living or soft life, they think it's just trip.
Idealistic, baby. Yeah, it's not,
Right.
you can't teach
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
just hedonism. And don't get me wrong, I have no problem with, with being hedonistic and self-indulgent and going to the spa,
Yeah.
all day and all of that. So I'm not saying not to have spa days. Absolutely have spa days, but that is not all that soft living is about. It has to be about your everyday life. Like, for example, you asked me earlier about, okay, am I posting Footwork Friday? Well, and the answer is yes, right? There are 3 other posts that I'm quote unquote supposed to do today, right?
Yep. Yep.
That's not happening. I'm doing one. I'm doing Footwork Friday.
Footwork Friday. Footwork Friday for the win. Yes, I'm glad that
Right.
it's taking
Priorities. Priorities. Forget about the advertising and the marketing. Let's get the fun out there.
Yeah.
And even like I don't want to call it a movement, but a theme of Footwork Friday, that is very deliberate on my part. People think that it's just fun or that it's quote unquote posting for likes or whatever. I'm like, well, first of all, nobody's posting for no likes. Let's just be real.
Right.
You're not posting it to just be ignored. Nobody's doing that, right? But it is deliberate because joy is a high vibrational state. So it might appear like, oh, it's just fun and it's lighthearted. Yes, deliberately so, because the goal is to get as many people as possible, as many people that see those posts, into a state of joy, upliftment, happiness, relaxation. The weekend is coming. I feel excited. And guess what? If you're feeling that way, then you're not snapping at your partner. If you're feeling that way, you're not berating your children. If you're feeling that way, you're not picking a fight with your friend. you see what I'm saying? And
absolutely.
just that, and to your point earlier about activism looking different, that is, I think, one of the prime examples of activism. It might not seem like it on the surface, but it is very deliberate. And as a Reiki master, I believe in energy. I believe in vibrations. Everybody might not. I also believe in God. I was raised Christian. I believe in a bunch of things. But at the core, the core thread, the continuum across everything that I do believe, is high vibrational, uplifted, and that is what I focus on, and that's what I try to bring to people. And all of that is part of soft living. When you're in a state of struggle, and we've all been there, the rent or mortgage is due, a bill comes in that you weren't expecting, your boss says something silly at the office and you can't even respond, you get denied a promotion, whatever it happens to be. Those things happen, right? But if you can find that core of joy and live there as often as possible, the way you respond is different, the way you strategize is different, and it also changes your mindset to remind you again, life comes first, work comes after. I'm sure many of us on this call have lost jobs, whether in various ways. Sometimes, folks have gotten fired or laid off or whatever it happens to be, but you've lost a job. If that job is your whole identity, then what? It can't be
Yeah.
work. It cannot be work-life balance. It has to be life-work balance. When you think about your life, that's your family, your immediate family, your extended family, your village, and you should be at the center of all of that. You are the, oh my gosh, I'm forgetting. Is it a hub? The center of a wheel is a hub, and then there's spokes, right? Did I get that
Yes,
right? Right. Okay. I was like,
you're right.
listen,
Spokes
I
off.
was going
Yes,
hard for
yes.
the analogy, and I was like, wait, what's the word?
Yeah. You are the center. Yes,
You are
yes.
the center, though. You are the center. You are the center. And so your desires and wants and needs and boundaries and health and happiness and all of that has to be centered for you. And then everything else comes after that.
100%. You said so much, Lisa, that I want to take a moment to reinforce and kind of amplify and unpack some of the wisdom that deeply resonates with me. I mean, so first of all, when you mention that there's a lot that's going on right now, and we have to make sure that we're at the center, I'm sure that the same for you is for me when I immediately think about the 319,000 steadily climbing number of Black women who have lost their jobs just in the past, 3 or so months, and how we are already facing the complexity of all the systems that work against us, right? And so I appreciate this. You center joy as part of defining and living the soft life, because sometimes we believe that we don't deserve joy just because of what society has told us. We believe that joy may compromise our output, because if we're having fun and we're really enjoying ourselves, and maybe we aren't doing things that are productive, that's yielding some type of output. And so the shifting of our mindset around these stories that we've been telling ourselves because others have been telling us those stories, I think that certainly finds its way into the movement that you are part of with the Great Exhale. And I want us to make sure we're recognizing that. I also love the reframe of flipping and putting life before work. Yeah, we always hear about work-life balance, so the life before work is really critical. So that was one thing that I really love that you put into your book. I want to talk about this word balance because I often use language like integration or blend, work-life blend or life-work blend.
Okay, well, where were you when I was writing? Because I like that.
Well, but let me tell you why. I
Yes,
believe that when you think about balance, and literally the definition of balance is everything is equal. And
yes, yes,
I
yes,
don't believe that that is reality at every
yes,
point in time in our lives. I think that so many things worth having is going to imbalance our lives. And there are
yes.
seasons where we may have a balance that looks like this, not even a balance, but we may have an imbalance that looks like this. And so for me, I had to find what's going to work. And what works for me is life work, because I used to say work life until I read your book, but life work integration or life work blending. I
Mhm.
really do have a deep sense of joy for what I do. And so, because of that, sometimes my favorite pastimes that brings me joy is work, is ideating around what can I do next? What kind of impact can I have here? How can I refine or tweak this particular program or whatever the case may be? And some may see that as I'm over consuming myself with business. But again, for me, it's that blend. My husband is also an entrepreneur. So whenever we do get a chance to get away, we know that there's probably going to be, out of the week or so that we are away, there's going to be maybe a couple times we're going to have blocks of windows of time where we're checking in, we're maybe doing work. But that is the integration part. That is the blend part that works for us. So I just wanted to bring that to the conversation so that we all can think about this word balance.
I
And
love that. I love that. I
yeah,
love what you just said. And I mean, so much to unpack even in that reframe.
yeah,
So when I think of balance, I am not, I know, like equilibrium is the same, is similar. But okay, let's say if some part of your life is at 70%, assuming that everything is 100. We're dealing with 100%. So I see the balance not as everything always at 50-50. absolutely. But 70-30, if you think of an old school seesaw
Seesaw.
back in the day, remember that? Right.
Yep.
So
Up and down. Yep.
if somebody is here and the other person is there, but it's imbalance.
Yes. Yes.
So sometimes this means when I was writing the book, this part, this part was the writing and the editing and all of this. This part down here, that was housework. That was housework and cooking. I'm like, no, don't have time. Do not have time. Do not have time. I
Yes.
ordered in as much as possible. And so that's just like one example. But I love your reframe of blend and integration. And I'm going to give that some more thought. And I just want to say to people, this is one of the reasons why I love speaking to people like yourself, Nika, and folks who are thinkers and who use their brains and who use their intellect and who dive deep into concepts and really try to pick them apart and make them work and make them make sense. And so I feel like now on this call, you and I've actually come up with a whole new thing, so from work life, whatever it was, now we have life
Yes.
work
Life
integration.
work,
And I
integration, life work, blend. But here's the
blend.
thing, language is so important. And I used to use balance as well. And it's not that it's wrong. It's just that what I was met with often is that people kind of felt like, well, how do you really get 50-50? So they saw balance as 50-50. And so I thought, well, let me now talk about this differently so that it's not a barrier for people to fully understand what I mean when I say that we really have to take control over finding what works for us in order
Yes.
to be able to get that right type of integration that is going to help us to show up at our highest selves. I love that, Lisa, when you were talking about the outcomes of living this soft, centered, serene life, that a lot of it has to do with outcomes like greater focus, greater clarity. And when we have greater focus, greater, mental clarity and mental capacity, it does allow us to show up better as our highest selves, going to the high vibration that you've talked about. And I think that's important because when we're navigating so much complexity of life right now, especially as Black women, we need to be able to have ways to, I talk about this a lot, emotionally regulate. Because when we can emotionally regulate, then we can start putting in practice all the ways that we can self-soothe when we find ourselves control obsessing or really allowing our emotions to get the best of us. And I am a firm believer that at this juncture in time, based upon what we are experiencing as Black women, we are going to need to rely on systems to change, but more importantly, we only can control what we can control. So my message around the soft life is think about what you can do to help you
Yes.
sit into that place of joy. We can't control what's happening in the world. We're going to find the headlines every single day that's going to toss something at us and it's going to be very jarring, right? But let's not let that rattle us. They want us rattled right now, right? They want
They
us
do.
bounded. That was
They
one of the
do.
reasons why I found it boundless, is because I'm like, no, let's not be boundless. What can we control? And our mental capacity and our ability to emotionally regulate is something that we can control. And there's great synergy into that message, but also the message that you've been crusading for so long, sister. So I just want to say, let's keep going.
Yes. Thank you
Let's
so
keep
much.
going.
I see the synergy as well. And one of the reasons why I very literally included breathing exercises in a book called Space to Exhale is because of that need for emotional regulation. And actually, when you look at every chapter, so for those of you who have not yet read the book, not yet, but soon.
Link. Yes.
Very, very soon. So each chapter starts with an anecdote from my life and then some, tips and sort of like anti-wisdom for here's how to not go through this issue. Here's how to avoid this, or if you're in it,
Here's
here's
what
how
not to do. Yeah.
right. Here's what to do, or if you've already done it, here's how you get out of it. But then at the close of every chapter, there is a section that includes breathing exercises, affirmations, journaling prompts, meditation exercises, all of it, because the goal is exactly that. So where Footwork Fridays is focused on joy and upliftment and elevating your energy through movement and smiling and laughter, a lot of what is in the book is about regulating your energy, just your energy, but just in a different way, through grounding, through inner work, through regulating your emotions via your breath. And so it was very important to me to include that. And actually, back to something I mentioned way at the top of the show about making sure that you write your book. At least I think I mentioned that.
Yeah, you
Is
did.
that
You did.
I did, right?
You did.
That's memory. Listen, y'all. I'm those.
You
I know.
can go. You a lot of these conversations, so I got you, sis. I got you.
Thank you. Latrice is on this call. She knows. Listen, if I don't, the thoughts just go. But yes, it's important. It was important to me to include all of those aspects of the book. Now, you've written four books, Nika.
I have 3 books. Yes.
Three books, right? Okay, so you've written 3 books, so you already know this process, right? So, because I write the way I talk, I went over word count, not by a little bit, by a whole, but actually by a whole nother book. I was over word count by 30,000 words. It was ridiculous. It was bad. It was bad. But
We have that in common too. I take a lot of words to really express myself, and so I am an over talker, over explainer. Yes.
I want all of them. They're so pretty. They're beautiful. Right. I love them.
Get this. I'm giving y'all everything under the kitchen sink. Even like a lot of my facilitation. Okay, you got to pare this way down, Nika. There's too much you're trying to get to people at once. Go ahead. It's hard right now. I wanted you to know that.
Thanks for seeing me and feeling me and understanding, right? Because I want all the words, but I knew I couldn't leave it at 130,000. Anyway, my publisher said, okay, you need to delete 30,000 words. I was like, eesh.
No pressure.
Thankfully, I'm a writer by trade, writer and copywriter and editor and whatever by trade. So I was like, okay, I know exactly what to do. I called a couple of people, called my dad, who's a published author. I called my sister, who's also a published author, called a couple other people. I was like, what do I do? Got some advice and then proceeded. But the thing is, a suggestion was made for me to eliminate the meditations and the affirmations and the breathing exercises and the journaling prompts. And I was like, that's not my book. That might be somebody else's book.
I love it. Don't just tell us what it is. Tell us how do we get through it? How do we self-soothe? Make it practical. That's why the book is golden. So no, okay. I'm glad you didn't follow that, sis.
No. I was like, that's not happening. That absolutely not even a remote chance. So again, I'm fortunate in that I know how to edit. And so, I just started going through the process, started with a wide tooth comb, got down to the fine tooth comb, got down to the brush, that's how I did it. Right. If you know, you know. Yes. But yeah, basically the grounding elements of the book, the elements that help you emotionally regulate, those are central to the work. Those are central, and it would not be the same book without them. And again, going back to, you asked me at the top of the show, why and who inspired me, what was the reason? Black women and anybody, honestly, anybody who is stressed and burned out and overwhelmed and living a life in constant overdrive, what you need sometimes, you just need somebody to say, hey, I see you, I feel you, I understand. Here's something you can do that will help. Because sometimes you don't even have the energy to figure it out yourself. Yes. And we're so used to having to figure things out by ourselves, having to be hyper independent and so on. And we're not used to people offering up help. That is part of what this book is. It's like, hey, I know what it feels like to have stuff to do or want to do better, to feel better, and not even know where to start. But so learn from me. Let me help you. Let me help lift you in your time of need, if this is what you need right now.
So beautiful. You mentioned your faith, and I am a woman of faith as well. And one of the simplest prayers that it finds its way into my daily routine is, help me to release the things that I can't control. Calm my anxious heart. And when I think about all that the great exhale movement entails, it really is about being able to self-soothe, calm ourselves so that we can sit in that place of rest and joy. Because it's hard to rest if our minds are racing, because it's really not rest. I mean, I've heard people, I've experienced this, to where the whole night I was restless simply because my mind was racing. I was not settled. And so you wake up still tired, like you didn't go to sleep at all, because really you didn't. And so it does, and it also impacts our health. So there's just a litany of reasons that this is not only just imperative, but it is a necessity. We have to make sure that we're getting this. And so I'm so grateful. I need to apologize to this audience because I'm realizing the time and we are like 10 minutes behind where
You're
usually
10
I
minutes
open
past,
up.
right?
I usually have opened it up by now. So I've been a bit selfish with our guest co-host today, I admit, and I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. I do want you to have an opportunity to ask your questions directly to our guest co-host today. And so be thinking about what type of curiosities are bubbling up. And if you're part of our Zoom community, you can do so by using the raise hand feature that lets me know that you're willing to be invited to unmute yourself to share your comments or your questions directly. And if your camera is on, I will even add you to the spotlight, or simply just go to the chat and place your question there. We'll try to get to as many as we can. If you're on LinkedIn Live, not to worry, place your questions into the comment section. My team is watching that. We'll bring it over. I want to give you just a moment or two to percolate on what's coming up for you and how you may want to contribute to today's dialogue by going to immediately to the next question. And that is, the work that you do is so important. We need you to continue to show up with the powerful voice that you have around leadership and activism of this rest revolution. What I would love for you to share with us is that you've already communicated that you are an introvert. How do you balance or integrate and blend your public voice for justice with the need for your own rest and relaxation and joy?
I even though I admittedly sometimes have difficulty with prioritizing things, right? All the things on the to-do list.
Sure.
Not all the time, but sometimes I do. When I'm able to easily prioritize, then I do it. If I can't, I call someone and I say, okay, here's everything I have going on. Help me to prioritize this, so that I it's going to sound bad, but it really is good, so that I can do the least, right? So that I can do the least and get the most upside, however I determine upside to be. Now, for me, upside is absolutely rest and naps and so on. So again, I have to use the example, like, for today. Do I have 4 posts that I should be posting today? Yes, I'm posting one because, and then I have some friends coming over. We're going to chill and hang out and have some fun and have some sister girl time. And I could do the work. I could do the work.
You could.
The work is always going to be there, though. The work is always going to be there. The people, the relationships, that time, that bonding, that community. Sometimes if you don't seize those moments now, they're gone forever. They the moments, not they the people. The moments are gone.
The moments. Yeah, the moments are gone.
The moments,
Yeah.
the opportunities are gone. Right. Yeah.
I don't think that we value the currency of time as much as we should, because yes, we can't get these moments back. And so that is critically important. Something that you raised, and I didn't see any hands, so I'm going to keep going, Lisa, but something that you mentioned, these are my words, not yours, but you said something to the effect of, I haven't really mastered this. I don't always get it right. I
Yeah.
want to take a moment to lean into that, because I think that sometimes people perceive that when individuals show up with great clarity around a message, such as the one that you have that's so powerful, that as the messenger, you have arrived and you get this right every single time, every single situation. And I want to refute that, because it is not about mastering something that probably is not even realistic to master, but it is about being able to navigate it and getting better, because you have strategies, you have tools you can pull out of your toolbox. And then once you continue to keep practicing those things, then you end up finding it easier and easier. So you have an artifact. Tell us about it.
This is an artifact. I brought this up as you were talking about that, because I don't know if people can see clearly, and I'm scared to bring it close to the screen because it'll topple over. But it is a Buddha, seated under a tree, right? A tiny one.
Buddha seated under a tree. Yes,
right.
yes.
So I have that there as inspiration, but that is not who I am. I am not Buddha seated under the tree, right? And so I have not achieved perfection. I have not, I definitely am not. And I say this in the book. Have I learned some things? Do I have some wisdom? Absolutely. Am I perfect? Absolutely not. Are there things I'm wonderful at? Definitely. Are there things that it's like, oh, epic fail? Absolutely. And that is okay, because we are living in human form. And this is part and parcel of being in human form, is having those moments, like accepting that change is constant, and accepting that perfection in this form is unattainable. And when you think of that, imagine how liberating that is, because you can apply that to like the deep, heavy work of self-love and self-care and all of that, and also to, the presentation that you did that has a typo. Is it just me? Okay, right? Or whatever it happens to be.
Yeah,
Doesn't
let it
need to be
go.
perfect. Does not
You
need
can
to be
have
perfect.
over it if you want to, but why? What is it going to change? The
It's not going to
title's
change
still
anything.
there, so move on.
Move
Move
on.
on.
And when
Yeah.
people, I've heard this from people who have retired and or people who are, very close, shall we say, to the end of their lives. And
Yeah.
they are never thinking, oh, you know what? I wish I had written that email a little better. Ooh, I wish that I had gone to one more meeting. Oh my goodness, conference call. I could really do with a good conference call right now. And I know it's never happened. It will never happen. Right. And so prioritizing what really matters, keeping the main thing, and keeping the main person.
I
Have
love
we,
that.
we should all have main character energy. Now, that does not mean I love the delineation, the differentiation you made earlier between introverted personalities and extroverted personalities. I am an introvert who has to, I think, show up as an extrovert because of some of the things that I do, right? Listen, if I could have just written the book and like prayed up to the heavens and it sell itself,
Oh, deliver, do what you need to do. Yeah.
I would absolutely have done that, but that is not the world in which we live. So yeah, you show up and you talk, you do the things and you promote and you all of that. But there is still time and space within showing up in that way to center yourself, to be true to yourself. It's one of the reasons actually why I decided not to do a traditional book tour. I was
Yeah.
like, there's absolutely no
Exactly.
way. And bear in mind, I wouldn't say I used to fly for a living, but I used to, but pretty much I was like the hotel tourism industry way back in the day. And so I was a bit of a road warrior. And, I've flown. There's still places I want to go, but I could never say that I have not, I've flown, I've flown, I've flown. I don't need to do it again. I don't, you know what I mean?
So
It is
yeah, so
not.
your book tour has been like these podcasts and vodcasts. And I remember you talking about that. And I was like, good for you. I'm so glad that you
Yeah.
are dictating the journey for yourself based upon what works for
What
you. I
works
love
for
that.
me, what works
Yes.
for me. And so I knew that I did not have the energy, the bandwidth, the desire, apart from anything else, to be constantly on planes, constantly going from city to city, unpacking, your hotel. You don't even know where you are because all you're seeing is hotel rooms. Many of us have been
Yeah.
there. And it's just not what I want for myself. And I wanted to instead be able to promote the book in a way that felt aligned with who I am as a person. And yeah, am I going to every now and then, I go outside, I do some stuff, but and I keep it to a minimum because it's not me. And as an introvert, as an HSP, which is a highly sensitive person, as somebody with ADHD, autism, and so on, I am very um, attuned to, aware of all the environment, all the things,
Right. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like I hear electricity, right? That's probably the best example that I have. And so there's constant input. And yeah, when I thought about, so you could sort of spend the next few months just dealing, just being over peopled, or you could relax and do this the easy way. It'll be fine.
I love the language of over people. Yes, yes. I always like to share that there's my niece, she has a t-shirt and it says, I used to be a people person, but then people. So if you are, and she's an
Oh my
introvert.
gosh,
Her
yes.
point was, yes, I thought I wanted to be a people person, but then I started experiencing it. And it was like, I'm feeling over people.
Yes,
But
yes.
nonetheless, this has been so riveting. And I'm almost shocked, Lisa, that our hour is coming to a close. And so we'll have to do this again. because there's
Absolutely.
so much more that I would want to engage you on. And I'm sure this community will want to also learn from you. But as we wind down, I want to first thank this community for showing up. I want to remind folks that we have Lisa's contact information that's been placed into the chat. Connect with her on all the spaces, right? Of course, we've shared her book a couple times. We'll share it again before we close out. I do hope that you will get the book and find it as a great resource to your library. And thank you just for being a part of our community. Now, I want to give you the final opportunity to close us out in whatever way that feels good for you, Lisa, because there has to be something that you are just percolating around, some energy, and you want to just put it out into the universe that we have not talked about yet. And I want to give you that chance to socialize that at this time. Thank you for being here.
Thank you too. Thanks again to you, Nika, and your entire team. Amura has been, contacting me back and forth. She's an absolute superstar. So thank you so much. I want to leave everyone with, as we're going into what is for many of us a long weekend with lots of things to do, lots of being outside, lots of peopling, to pause and go inside of yourself and really ask what you actually want to do. Do you want now? And you might want to go to the barbecue, but at least ask, do I want to go to the barbecue? Do I want to go to that party? What do I really want to do? Is there any time? Can I take any time or carve out any time for me over this long weekend? Just I really want people to think about that, about getting rest, and about just centering yourself and treating yourself with love and with care and with tenderness and gentleness, because you deserve all of that and more. And thank you all so much. For lovely to see all your beautiful photos and some of your faces. And this has been wonderful, Nika. Thank you so much.
Bookmark Friday post coming up.
That's
Thank
next.
you so much. Thank you so much, Lisa. Thank you so much. Thank you all. Have a great, safe weekend and take these words to heart. We'll see you again for another episode of Intentional Conversations podcast. Bye bye, everyone.